Broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. It's time for Gwinnett Business Radio. Gwinnett Business Radio is cared for by Eastside Medical Center, providing quality care to Gwinnett County and the greater Atlanta area for over 38 years.
And hello again, everybody, and welcome to Gwinnett Business Radio. We are broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio in the beautiful Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. I'm Mike Salmon alongside Stephen Julian.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Stephen, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Come on.
How are you doing?
I'm good. You got to tell us the joke of the day.
Okay, so Elijah and I, my youngest son, we asked Siri for the joke of the day. We did it this morning, and the joke of the day this morning on Siri, at least on my phone, was the cookie set. Oh, get the rim shot.
Get the rim shot ready
and
sound effects.
That's good production of the show. Siri told us that the joke of the day was, hey, I need to take my cookie to the doctor.
Why?
Because he's feeling crummy.
Nice.
Yeah, well done. Thank you, Siri.
We've got two wonderful guests here in the studio today. Larry McClelland is with us. He's the owner and CEO of SADA Services, and also Jennifer Jones with JMJ Speech and Language Solutions. So if we mess up and stumble and so forth,
she's going to correct our grammar.
We'll fix it all up for us. Let's start with Larry, though. Larry, welcome to our program. SADA Services is the name of the company. Tell us what you do.
Well, SADA Services provide quality premier services to its clients in the industry of entertainment. We have adopted a new trending tagline as entertainment intelligence. And what this means is that it's a form of business perspective that we collect data and business analytics, and we teach the artist, the comedian, the poetic justice about the business perspective to the entertainment industry.
Let me unwrap that a little bit. So you're working with the entertainers and the people on that side of the industry?
Well, we do a multitude of things.
Okay.
On one side, we will work with the entertainers. On the other side, we do a promotion. We host comedy shows. We host fashion shows. We even manage artists. And then we go out. I have this thing called, this program called Next Best. It's recently just started. I'm running this program in Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. There are a lot of people out there that love the idea of being an entertainer. So we go out there in these places that are less fortunate to have those type of services available, and we host these talent competitions. And then we would, after they prove themselves to be qualified, or I would say ready to advance to the next level, we bring them here to Atlanta. I have a multitude of producers, promoters, engineers, and everything that we will work with them, produce their music, put them out there in the community of social media, YouTube, and even on iTunes. And if their music grow a following, create revenue, then we would put them in front of producers that will eventually sign them to major record labels.
When it comes to the artists, the musical artists, comedians, actors, actresses, and you talk about analytics and data, what are some of the biggest facts or data points that the typical artist is missing? What are they not connecting when it comes to the business of what they're doing?
Number one thing is the artist is not understanding that they are the business. When it comes to artistry, when it comes to selling your music, when it comes to your idea of wanting to make a revenue or profit from it, you have to understand the business side. What we're doing for the communities and for the artists, we are teaching them the business side of it. I have this program that is a symposium. It's called the Entertainment Business Symposium. We host this thing annually right now in those 3 states that I said, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. And in that, we teach them that SoundCloud, YouTube, ASCAP, BMI, all these things are very important to you as an artist in a business perspective. A lot of time, the artists will have great talent. They will go to these talent shows. They will go and open up for, and then they don't understand that everything they do must be copyrighted and it must have their ownership. So we teach them in that symposium how to own their music and how to own their product.
Almost sounds like you're from soup to nuts. You're offering everything that an artist would need to kind of get them going.
Yes.
Kind of like a Simon Cowell in a way. You're our local Simon Cowell.
A lot nicer.
A lot nice. But wearing the black, if you've noticed.
That's true.
And
pulling it off.
Absolutely.
Very well.
Talk about how long you've been in business and what brought you to where you are today. You know, where did you get all your expertise and knowledge?
Well, I have always had the desire to help others. And I was in the United States military. As a leader, I used to be in charge of hosting monthly events. We would host these events, and I would see how these events would impact people. It would impact their lives. So to me, it gave me a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
While I was still in the Army, in 2012, I started SADA Services, and my very first business under the DBA of Big Mac Entertainment. I would host shows and everything from Austin all the way to Dallas, and even sometime into Houston and San Antonio. And I would see, hey, this is pretty good, making really good money doing what I really like doing. So I grew that business, and when I retired, I moved that business to Atlanta, because initially before I would come to Atlanta weeks on, weekends, and get the knowledge and understand how the entertainment is moving in this region. Atlanta has become very prominent in the entertainment industry, and by retiring and moving to Atlanta, I feel that it will grow my business, SADA Services, to a huge magnitude that will be a family business that will support my family for 3 generations or more.
We're speaking with Larry McClelland. He is the CEO of SADA Services Entertainment Company, and Mike's title, Soup to Nuts, helping people get found and get into the industry.
And by the way, in a great market for that too, Atlanta, with all the talent that's in here. I mean, you couldn't have picked a better city.
Absolutely.
And then the other thing I like is going to the other areas where maybe they may never get found, but giving them an opportunity. You talked about the Next Step program and the Next Step events. So you've talked about a kind of a business side of it, Symposium. You've talked about the next best. Are there other, what are some of the other programs? And you've talked about hosting these programs and putting these things on. If I go to a SADA Services promoted event, are there some things that I'm going to see no matter what type of event it is that you're putting on? Are there some things that are very unique to the way you do an event?
Well, the uniqueness of it is that my company, SADA, has several DBAs under it that will give a promoter or anybody that wants to put on an event. I have everything inside of it. It's like you go to McDonald's and you get a combo. You go to SADA Services and you want to have a magnificent event. I have everything, and I have built the programs for everything inside of it to be able to give you that memorable event. Things such as I have a red carpet company, where it's a red carpet affair for it. I have, as I stated earlier, the Entertainment Business Symposium. I have the Next Best Talent Competition. I have Armand Graphics that will promote and do social media content for the event, flyers, even logos. If you have that idea, that vision in mind, SADA Services will be able to bring that vision to life for you.
So unlike McDonald's, when you're done working with SADA Services, you'll feel much better and have a fantastic experience. And, instead of going, that was very disappointing of what I was expecting from the combo menu, you'll have a great experience and go, that was great. I feel fantastic.
What we want to do there is we want to create an alliance, a relationship where you would feel good about coming back to it.
And so we're Gwinnett Business Radio. If I'm a business owner listening and I'm going, okay, entertainment, I don't have anything to do with that. Are there things that businesses could do, events that they could do where they could use the services of SADA Services? Sounds like that red carpet might be something. Or
well, after arriving to Atlanta, SADA Business Solutions grew. I had no idea that was there or anything. I would attend these events, and then speaking with people, they would be requesting and asking for knowledge. So with SADA Business Solutions, what I do is I do public speaking and business consulting. SADA Business Solution will do business consulting, and it do public speaking as far as leadership and things that I learned while I was in the military. So that there will also give them extra tools they'll be able to use in order to make sure that they are creating a business that they can last the test of time.
Larry, who do you want to talk to? Who are you wanting to meet? Who's the best person that, or maybe even give us an example of somebody that you brought under your wing and what you've done for them so far. We love to hear success stories. Well,
I have a friend that in the military that I grew real close with. He and I share a lot of common qualities together. He has recently started a business titled Slick Oil out in Dallas, Texas. And with that business, his name is Derek Bell. With that business,
shout out to Derek.
Yeah, and Slick Oil.
He has created a mobile oil change business. And what we did is we talked about it, we brainstormed, and I told him that getting involved with car rental places, large companies that have large equipment that they just can't drive down to the local, being able to go there. And with that being said, he has secured several contracts. I think that's very good because I have never, until he brought the idea, I have never heard of mobile oil change.
No, neither have I.
I had, sorry.
Okay.
But to do it successfully is a whole nother story, and to have contracts with large companies, that's obviously been a huge thing. So you kind of started at the beginning of the interview, you were talking about the Next Best program. I assume that not only do you do that to find new talent, but that's a way of giving back to the community. I believe you talked about that. Talk about that. I mean, what have you found in some of these rural communities or some of these underserved communities that you found some people with some dreams and then some talent to kind of back up those dreams? And on top of that, what are some of the other ways that SADA Services can kind of give back and help in local communities?
SADA Services, every good organization need to, like you say, be able to give back. SADA Services has its own foundation. It's called the Wise Counsel Foundation. You can view that on www.wise-counselfoundation.org. Okay, while it is geographically located in Mississippi because that's my hometown, and that's where I see that the need of young children, young teens, they get into trouble a lot. And in that place, there's not much to do. So, but they do have talent. Next Best originated from hosting those events. What it is that we would find those teens that are not college material. All right, every child is not college material.
Right.
So we have always heard of scholarship funds and all that for those that are college inclined. So the ones that are not, who help those? In that city, there's where Wise Counsel come in at. Yeah, you may not be college material, but there are other career fields out there that can give you a solid career. So we catch them the age between 13 to 19. We mentor them all the way through. And we introduce to them that there is more to life than getting in trouble. You can do a lot more with your life. So Wise Counsel Foundation introduced to them all these different types of career fields that you don't have to go to college for. And artistry is one. Writing a book about anything. You can always buy an editor. You can buy someone that could write for you. All you just do is you talk to them. If you want to, you don't have to be the person on the mic. You can be the sound crew behind the mic. You can be the person that set the equipment up. Those are promising careers that you really can get involved with. So that's what Wise Counsel do. Again, relating it to our solid industry of entertainment. And if we get to a point where that person or that child has changed their idea, Wise Counsel Foundation will fund them to go to a career field, a technical institute or something like that, that can give them a certification that will give them a job that they can grow and even possibly into a scalable business.
That's great stuff, Larry. Well, having reviewed your website and seeing all the, as you mentioned, the DBAs that are there's so much that we can never even get to half of it probably in a 12, 13-minute interview. So let's send people to the website. For folks that want to look into any of your services that you offer, where can they get the information?
Everything could be connected to www.sada-services.com. That's sada-services.com.
Great. Larry, thank you for joining us this morning.
Yes.
Larry McClelland, the owner and CEO of SADA Services here on Gwinnett Business Radio.
Mike, before we get to our next guest, I just want to remind our listeners that our show, Gwinnett Business Radio, does come to you from the Subaru of Gwinnett studios. Love is what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Get big savings and enjoy their hassle-free experience at Subaru of Gwinnett, where people sell cars. Robots are not selling cars yet, Mike.
No, not
people
yet.
They're still people, and they're real people at Subaru of Gwinnett. Great people at Subaru of Gwinnett. Visit SubaruofGwinnett.com and join their family today. Come in and see the difference. If you're already a Subaruist, then follow Subaru of Gwinnett's Facebook page or other social media pages for the latest Subaru offers, news, and community events. And don't forget, they also offer outstanding service on your Subaru.
And although robots don't sell cars, you can go online and buy cars. So you can go to
but
Subaru's.
that's not a robot. That's online.
Right. You can
Al
go
Gore
to their
invented
website
that,
and
so
buy it.
we're
So
on
if you
board.
don't have any personal experience interfacing at all, you could do it all online and buy your Subaru that way.
Although you shouldn't do that. At Subaru of Gwinnett, there are real people, and they're wonderful people, and they will give you a great experience. That is a Stephen Julian.
All right, fine.
As close to a
Fine.
guarantee as I can give. But yes, if you don't want any human interaction,
Right.
yes, you can
You
go
don't
to
want to leave your
SubaruofGwinnett.com.
basements and you just want to
Yeah,
buy it, but you want a
okay.
Subaru.
Yeah, so Mike wants to just hide in his basement and shop online all day. I want to go meet people.
All right, Jennifer, help me out here. Jennifer Jones is the, you say your title SLP.
Yes.
Senior Language Professional, Producer? What's SLP?
Speech language pathologist.
I was not even in the ballpark.
No, not close.
JMJ Speech and Language Solutions is the company.
Yes.
Is it your company?
Yes.
So
it's
you
my
could have
company.
put owner there.
Yeah, I should have put owner.
Well, she had JMJ. Is the M a middle initial?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we won't ask what it is.
We-
My middle initial is M.
We've already asked 3 really dumb questions.
Let's
so
get to
far.
a good question.
Tell us all about your business and what JMG Speech and Language Solutions does.
We evaluate and treat children and adults with speech and language disorders. Also, we work with children and adults that have cognitive and swallowing disorders.
Now, the company you started, how long ago?
2012.
2012. About the same as Larry's company. What got you into this business?
Well, I decided to go to school for speech because I really wanted to help people. I knew I always wanted a job where I could communicate with people and talk to people during the day. So I felt like that was the perfect mix. You can help people. You can, you're not at a desk all day. You communicate with people. So that's how I got into the field of speech. And then after graduating from college, I started out with adults in long-term care, and then I eventually went to the hospital. I was working with children and adults, and then went to private practice and went from there.
When people hear speech language pathology (SLP) and they actually get the letters right, and then they hear that you work with speech and language issues, that's a pretty broad range. What are some of the most common ones? Because I think some people might think, well, I don't have that problem. There's something, but I don't think it's that. But I think people would be surprised at just the breadth of what you cover. So without doing 5 straight minutes of 75 things, give us an idea of all the different things that can kind of cover.
So articulation, where people mispronounce their words. Language, maybe like a child that may be a late talker, not saying enough by the age, like not meeting their developmental milestones. We work with people that have had a stroke. So, they have word finding problems or apraxia where they're not producing the words the right way. We work with dysphagia, that's swallowing difficulty where people get choked on their food, like aspiration. Mm-hmm. We also even do accent reduction. So, a foreigner that may have a very heavy accent and it's hard for them to be understood by different people, we work with them to kind of help, reduce the accent so it'll be easier for them to be understood by others.
I can imagine, Jennifer, you probably have some very rewarding stories that you can share with us. Some folks that came to you needing some help, and you fixed them up, for lack of a better term. Share some of the success stories, please.
Okay, there's a little boy that I was working with, and he was on a feeding tube. He was about 3 years old, and he wasn't able to eat anything by mouth. And then we worked together. We did exercises. I used a little neuromuscular electrical stimulation with him, just as much as he could tolerate. And by the end of our sessions, he was eating whatever he wanted to eat. He still had to work on getting his appetite up, but that was a major success story for him and for me. I feel like it's helping to improve the quality of his life. There have also been situations where I've worked with children that came in and they weren't talking, and then fast forward to maybe a year later and they're having full conversation. So I just feel like that's very rewarding.
I would think one of the biggest selling points of your practice is there's an end goal. There's a clearly defined, here's where we want to get to. I think sometimes with rehab or with counseling and other things, I think sometimes people think, if I go into this, I'm never going to come out of it. And I think with speech solutions, there is we'll get to a point where you can go, hey, I think I'm where I want to be. I can stop, right? I mean, that's got to be incredibly rewarding for you.
Yes, it definitely is.
Yeah. So those are some good success stories. Let me ask this question. Has there been a really unique story? One where you had a client, you took on a client and were like, I never would have thought I'd be doing this given my speech and pathology and language. That's a pretty good, because when you said the accent reduction, I thought, I wouldn't have thought of that. I wouldn't have thought that was, so that was one of the ones that interested me. Maybe there's nothing that interests you because you studied it all and you're like, no, I knew what to expect because I kind of knew the breadth of what I was doing.
Have there been some surprises, maybe, what you're trying to ask, too?
Let's see. Well, with the accent reduction, that when I initially went to the field of speech pathology, I didn't really think that was something that we would be working on. And a lot of people are surprised that we work with swallowing, because most people think for speech it's just, people that have a hard time saying R's or things like that. But there's so much more. So initially coming into the field, I was surprised about the different types of disorders that we worked with. But now I'm pretty well versed with whatever comes upon me. Sometimes we get voice patients that have like a very specific type of disorder. So of course we do whatever we can, do our best within our training. And then if we're not, if it's not something that we can work with directly, we would just refer. But
all right. On a much lighter note, can you help me with my S's? I whistle my S's a lot.
You sound great.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Our former president, President Obama, he really would whistle occasionally, and I always wanted to write him a letter and say, hey, I feel your pain, because it would occasionally be brought up that he would sometimes whistle into his microphones, and I do the same thing. So the speech pathologist told me that I'm actually pretty good. So that's good treatment, by the way. Just encourage me.
Yeah, that's part of it. Some of it is just confidence especially if it's something like stuttering. We have patients that stutter, and then we working together and they're doing better, but they're still not very confident. So then sometimes we kind of go outside of our four walls of our therapy session. We might go into the community to have them talk to people that, strangers. Yeah. And, with me being there, they may feel a little bit more confident, and they do pretty well. So it's just getting that confidence level up for some people.
And some of this is, like you said, there's muscular things, and some of it is kind of cognition. You got to retrain your brain, right? I mean, so that's got to be rewarding, that it isn't just the same thing. You've got to kind of find the solution and find what helps them cope and what helps them turn that page and get better at what they're doing.
Yes.
That wasn't really a question. I was just encouraging her because she said my S's are not that bad.
Ironically, before the show today, we were having a conversation about you and how you met your beautiful wife, Stacy, and how you were, from another part of you're from Georgia, but you don't sound like you're from Georgia, and
Right.
you married a pretty Southern woman.
Yep.
And one says pecan, and the other says pecan.
Correct.
And things like that.
Is there? Or are you going to ask her what's the right way?
One's not right or wrong, right? It's just there's different dialects from different parts of the country.
Dialectal differences, yes, exactly.
Okay.
So
that's not an accent. That's a dialect,
yes,
and that's a
so the
community
accent
thing.
Give us an example of the accent.
Well, an accent is more like someone that's from a foreign country and then speaking English. So that's the accent.
So you're not trying to take the South out of the Southerner.
No, unless they want it to be taken out.
So someone
and a
from
dialect is like a different region of the United States, and
So someone learning English as a second language who's from a different part of the world, and it's actually been brought up in sitcoms and things like that. So there are times where they will. You said don't pronounce the R's, right? That would be one of them, or change their vowels, and everybody's got an example that they're thinking, and so some of that is really just training, right? And
yes.
and it's because they use their mouth differently with their language, and they don't make that transition, and you're helping them make that transition.
Exactly.
Okay, so let me ask this, because I asked the question about there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and a lot of these things can come to solution. Is there an average amount of time that somebody, and I know this is a very broad question, but should somebody expect that it's going to take at least 6 months, it's going to take somewhere around a year? Is there a range you can give people to say, based on what you're going through, I can tell you how long this will take?
Well, it just depends on the case. Every person is different.
Yep.
We do test every 6 months. So if they retest and they're passing the test, then we won't continue. But if there are still deficits there, then we'll continue. And it also depends on the type of diagnosis the person has. So, for example, if it's someone with autism, then it's probably going to be like ongoing for quite a while. But if it's someone that just has like one articulation sound, then it probably will go a lot quicker.
And I'm sorry. One other question: is this something a lot of people should look to if they're insured? They should look at their insurance and see does your service, is it provided under insurance? Many times, sometimes, kind of depends, case by case basis.
Most of the time, it's covered
good.
under insurance.
That's great.
So.
Very good.
What is the first way people engage with you? Is there a charge to consult with you if they want to have a conversation with you first to see if maybe they need your services? How does that work, the first engagement?
Well, we actually offer free consultations. So you can give us a call. We can do a phone consultation, or you could come in, and our consultations are usually about 15 minutes long. And then that's just for us to talk and then determine whether you need a full evaluation, if there's really a problem there, or if it's just something that may be developmental that a child may grow out of, or, just to determine exactly what's going on.
Right, and I would recommend people go to your website, because I noticed on your website this morning that you really, and Stephen was asking about the list of all the things that you can work on. It's all kind of there as far as for some people, whether it be a disability or just something you want changed or whatever. I saw even autism. I mean, things I wouldn't expect to see on the list. Mm-hmm. If it affects your speech, it seemed to be on that list. So
yes.
Where can people get more information and kind of check out all JMJ Speech and Language Solutions? So
the website is jmjspeechsolutions.com. And you can give us a call too. Our number is 678-278-9244. And you'll just find a lot of information. Our therapy sessions are fun and interactive. So a great place to start.
And you're based in Lawrenceville.
Yes, near downtown.
Can any of this be done online, or does it all have to be done in person?
Well, now we do offer teletherapy. So we could
Wow.
set it up where you could do it online.
So Mike
you
in
don't
his
have to actually
basement,
come
not
in.
wanting any human interaction, he could at least do it over the phone.
I can buy my car and work with Jennifer as well.
Exactly, you could.
So technically, that opens you up to anybody in the country if they want to do it through the phone.
Yes,
or
online on the computer. Yes.
Yes.
All right, so two things to Jennifer. First of all, JMJ Speech Solutions, the way you said that, your S's are perfect. Well done.
Thank you.
And this question has now been in my head for about the last 8 minutes, and I've got to ask it.
All right.
The movie The King's Speech. Good,
Oh, yeah,
good
I've seen
movie.
it.
Very, very fairly accurate. Is it? I mean, did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy
Yeah.
it. I did. I have not seen it in a very long time,
Okay.
but I did enjoy it. I enjoy anytime speech language pathology is brought to the forefront. I love it.
And that's the fascinating thing is here's this historical figure who was dealing with something like this, and it's something that up until recently was just kind of suck it up and deal with it. But there are ways to help. So
for us dummies that did not see the movie,
King's Speech is, and it's been a while since I've seen it, but it's a historical piece about, I believe, one of the princes of England during World War II who went on the air to give speech, and he had a huge stuttering problem, just deathly afraid of talking in public, and so he got a coach, and they did some things to help him go on the air, and his speeches were very rousing and helpful. And so it's a fascinating movie about a topic that wasn't really public back then, and just a good movie.
Okay.
And
you think Jennifer saw it?
Yeah, exactly.
Would have been a very bad question if she had not
never
seen it.
It's sacrilegious to what I do. No, it's a fairly accurate portrayal of something that really wasn't talked about much back then. But anyway, one of the things I found fascinating about Jennifer's interview is, again, and she talks about people on the spectrum, and I have family members who are on the spectrum, and speech is one of the big issues. And so the ability to help someone be more I don't want to say functional, but relational, and helping that relational aspect. It's just fascinating that some of this is a physical thing and some of it is cognitive, and she kind of handles both sides of that. So kudos to you.
Yeah. Thank you for the great work you're doing. Thank you for joining us as well. Jennifer Jones with JMJ Speech and Language Solutions, and the website again is jmjspeechsolutions.com.
Your asses were wonderful there.
Thank you, sir. Before we close the show, we want to recognize one of our great partners here at Business Radio X, and that is the macronutrient meal plan of Chef Jarvis.
Honey, I sure am hungry. There's nothing to eat. I don't feel like ordering takeout.
Me too. I wish we were on the macronutrient meal plan by Chef Jarvis that I told you about. Right now, we could be enjoying Chef's 5-star quality, healthy, and delicious meals. They would have been delivered right to our doorstep.
Well, let's go to his website and sign up now. What was his website?
It's chefjarvis.com. CHEFJARVIS.com.
I'm on the site. Wow, look at this. He says we can eat like royalty every day without lifting a finger, and all of his ingredients are antibiotic, hormone, and GMO free. Everything is completely gluten and sugar free. His plan options are a monthly subscription service, so when we register, we'll get food for the entire month. No commitments, no contracts. This is awesome.
See, honey, I told you. We'll save a ton of money and time on grocery shopping and cooking. With the two of us, we get a multi-person discount.
That was quick. Our first delivery will be here tomorrow. I can't wait.
Who are those people in that commercial?
I don't know, but they sound fantastic.
They speak very well.
Absolutely. Mike, having an expert in the entertainment field and having an expert with speech language pathology, I have never been more self-conscious about what I say and how I say it. But I think you and I pulled it off very well today. Thanks to our great guests.
Show's not over yet, Stephen. We got plenty of time.
Then I'm going to shut up.
A reminder, follow us on Facebook or LinkedIn or your favorite social media app, Twitter. We're all there, at Gwinnett Radio X. And do lots of, we like hashtags. Amanda tells us, hashtags community partners, capital C, capital P.
Okay. What if it's lowercase c, lowercase p?
I didn't think that made a difference, but she says it does. She's the social media person.
Oh, it makes a
hashtag community partners. All
I
right.
like that you're doing the hashtag
with my fingers
from Jimmy Fallon.
Well, she did
That's
that to
good.
me.
Yeah.
Yes, hashtag. All right, we are done. For our producer Amanda and for Stephen, I'm Mike, and we will see you next time here on Gwinnett Business Radio.